Good morning on our Tuesday in Holy Week. Our readings are from various chapters in Matthew's Gospel and talk of Jesus being put to a test. And we start with Matthew 16 and just reading the first verse of that chapter. The Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test Jesus they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. We move on to chapter 19, verse 3. Some Pharisees came to him, and to test him they asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause?" And then two readings from chapter 22, the first verses 17 and 18. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not? But Jesus, aware of their malice, says, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites?" And then finally from chapter 22, verses 35 and 36. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" It was on the Tuesday that he told them straight. If you had been there, you would have thought you were at an argumentative Prime Minister's question time. They wanted to know why, and they wanted to know how. They were the respectful men, influential men, the establishment. The questions verged on the ridiculous. They knew the answers already, or so they thought. Otherwise, why ask the question? They were looking for an argument with no intention of a change of heart, so he flailed them with his tongue, those who tried to look interested but never wanted to be committed. It was on the Tuesday that he told us, straight. Let's pray. Loving God, you made clear to your disciples what this week would mean, and yet they failed to see. And how could they? They had lived and moved around with you, listened to you, sat at your feet. How could they ever imagine that the person they respected, even loved, would be going to his death? After that glorious, triumphant entry into Jerusalem, how could they imagine that that same crowd would turn and shout, "Crucify"? Loving God, we often put you to the test. And yet, you are with us despite all our failings, our questions, our testings. You exist beyond our imagination and yet are so real. For you put up with our doubts. You answer our prayers. And so, as we walk alongside you this holiest of weeks, may we listen to you. May we learn from your wisdom. And always remember that you are a God of love. Amen.